Good morning. Good morning. Today is July 24th. I received an email with a PDF document from the Environmental Working Group about food additives. I have it in PDF form. I'll be glad to send anyone that's interested in a copy of this. They could read it in detail. I'm just going to go over the highlights of it. So it's the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen Food Chemicals, the top 12 to avoid. And they start out by saying our food should be nourishing and safe to eat. Doesn't that go without saying? It doesn't really anymore. So more than 10,000 chemicals are allowed in the food sold in the United States. Some are direct additives, such as preservatives like BHA, BHT. They're intentionally added to processed food. Others are indirect, like heavy metals, which contaminate food during the processing, storage, and packaging. Almost 99% of food chemicals introduced since the year 2000 were green-lighted for use by food and chemical companies rather than proper review by the Food and Drug Administration. So if you take a look, and I'm going to say this a lot, you'll hear me say this a lot, compare some of the foods that are banned in Europe that we are readily available on the shelves, and our government doesn't mind us eating, and all these, so many of these lead to disease some type. Anyway, many of these widely used chemicals are associated with major health harms, including risk of cancer, developmental harm, and hormone disruption. Hormone disruption is huge in so many things that are our foods are packaged in and that are in our foods. And so we wonder why our youth are going through so many things in their bodies and their mental health. And this can leave consumers struggling to know what's safe for their families. So the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen Guide to Food Chemicals shows you which chemicals to avoid in food by highlighting some of the worst that are on the market. So the nitrates and the nitrites, which, by the way, I read an article by Dr. McCall a few years back that said if you're eating a food with nitrates, and that's usually going to be in meats, lunch meats, and bacon. And you can take a vitamin C that'll offset it'll offset some of the cancer-causing properties. And I'm not sure how, so go look at that further yourself to get more information on it. So nitrates and nitrates are preservatives. They're used in cured meats. And nitrites can form nitrates that have been linked to stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, and possibly brain and thyroid cancers. Potassium bromate is a possible human carcinogen added to flour used in packaged baked goods. Propylparaben is a preservative used in pastries and some tortillas. It causes developmental and productive harm. BHA is a preservative used in cured meats and other multiple sources, and they're showing a picture of potato chips. And it's been linked as a possible carcinogen. BHT in the picture is Fruit Loop looking kind of a cereal. Preservative found in cereals and other foods. It's a chemical cousin to BHA, it says, and a possible human carcinogen. Now, they have to say possible, but you all can read between the lines on that. TBQH. Ooh. Now, I'm not familiar with this one, but I'm seeing the picture of a pastry that comes in a little package that is very common. I used to eat as a kid. They say it right here. Pop-Tarts and other processed foods, it's a preservative. It may cause harm to the immune system and weaken the effectiveness of vaccines. That's a whole other story on that subject. I won't go there. Titanium dioxide is a color additive used mostly in candy, and it might damage DNA. BVO, brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, is used to stabilize citrus flavors in sodas and fruity drinks, and it can cause neurological harm. Now, how many neurological problems are we having now? Brain dysfunction, brain fog, depression, anxiety. We wonder why these things are coming from. We've got to look at the food and the water supply. PFAS. So these are forever chemicals. They're used in food packaging, and they're known to leach into the food itself, and they increase the risk of cancer and damage the immune system and reproductive system, among many other health harms, it says. Artificial colors, synthetic food dye can be found in many types of food and beverages, and they can affect the development and cause behavioral difficulties in children. Now, I read about this years ago when my son was young. with ADHD, and he went to a school where they required him to not be medicated for ADHD, and we had to really look at diet, and we had to take a red dye. Number 40 was one of the main things we had to take out of the diet, but there were other things as well, including the sugar itself. Of course, high fructose corn syrup is a real detrimental ingredient in the food supply. It is actually it's in almost every soft drink and jellies now. You really have to look at the label. It's in ketchup. It's really, really bad for a number of reasons. So they said there on the food dyes, there's 7 they're especially concerned about: the red dye 3, red dye 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, blue 2, and green 3. Artificial sweeteners, oh yeah. They can affect hormones that regulate metabolism and have a negative effect on weight control. Negative effect on weight control. You're taking a diet soda to try to make your weight control better, and it's harming your weight control. I'll be first to tell you. I remember when I was pregnant with Michael, my son, I asked my doctor, is it okay to consume NutraSweet? Oh yeah, it's fine for you. Now, I can't say I ever had any ill effects exactly precisely identified to that, but doctor approved it, as most doctors would approve any of these now. I have found a really good resource that's not harmful as a sweetener, because I like the sweet myself, and I found monk fruit to be a really, really good sweetener, and low carbohydrate. Low sugar, might be no sugar actually. Heavy metals, huge, every place you turn, huge. Many baby foods contain dangerous levels of heavy metals, including mercury, lead, cadmium, and arsenic. By the way, arsenic is also widely prevalent in rice. I did graduate studies, I did a paper on arsenic in rice. I'd be glad to share that with you. Message me and I'll share it with you if you're interested in that. Exposure can slow growth and development, increase cancer risk, lead to behavioral and learning difficulties. Most metals get in through water and soil pollution. So there you go. If you're interested, just send me a message, put your email address. I'll send you this document from the Environmental Working Group. Of course, you can probably go right to their website, Environmental Working Group, EWG, and they'll freely give you this information. All I did was sign up for it. I don't have to pay for it. I just sign up for it, and it comes right into my mailbox, and I'm sharing it with you. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I say God bless you, and have a wonderful day.